In this video we're going to talk about histograms. So histograms are used to represent discrete or continuous data, usually contained in grouped frequency distribution tables. A histogram uses rectangles to represent frequency. If the widths are equal, then the vertical axis can represent the frequency. So if the distance between each of the intervals is the same, then the height of each given rectangle on our diagram will represent the frequency for that particular interval. And in a histogram, the rectangles representing the data must touch. This is because the data we're looking at is continuous. There's no unused bits in this. If you look at the histogram we can see on as our example here, so this histogram on the right shows the distances in kilometers traveled to work by people in an office block. So we can see that between that 10 people travel between 0 and 3 kilometers in order to get to work. 16 people travel between 3 and 6 kilometers to get to work. 20 people travel between 6 and 9 kilometers to get to work. 12 people travel between 9 and 12 kilometers to get to work. And 4 people travel between 12 and 15 kilometers to get to work in this particular office block. So that's how we would read the information off a histogram. Let's take a look at an example of a question we might be given where we're asked to put one together ourselves. So, the duration of each logon to the internet in a public library was recorded over a certain period. The results are summarized in the following table. So we can see our durations were laid out in 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, and 25 to 30 minutes. And the number of logons are given for each of those intervals is 2, 4, 7, 10, 8, and 5 respectively. And we're also given a note underneath this table that says that 5 to 10 means 5 minutes or more but less than 10. In other words, 0 to 5 goes from 0 minutes right up to but not including 5 minutes. And 5 to 10 go 5 minutes right up to but not including 10 minutes, and so on. So we have to draw a histogram to illustrate the data in this table. So the way we will do that is just jump right in. We have to draw out our axis to start with. Our line on the left only needs to go as high as the largest number, the modal number, which in this case is 10. So our frequencies are going to go up the left. And then our intervals are going to draw along the bottom. And because our intervals are all of the same gap, then we have to make sure that we draw an evenly spaced distance for each of these bars. These have to be drawn evenly spaced in order for the histogram to be done correctly. Then we mark in our numbers and we just draw a line to represent each one. And as you can see, the lines are touching in a histogram. Unlike in a bar chart where we leave a gap, this time they definitely have to touch. And we make sure that we label our axis. We've got our number of logons over here, our duration in minutes, and we label our graph as well, duration of logons to the internet, so we know exactly what's been represented in our histogram. So you can see how that's done there. For the next question in this, we're asked to write down the total number of logons over the period of time. And this one's relatively easy to do. We just have to add up all the frequencies. So it's going to be 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 10 plus 8 plus 5. When we add them all up, we will get 36. So there were 36 total logons to the internet over that period of time, and their duration is ranged across that at the top. And for the next part of this, we're asked to write down the modal class. In other words, the interval that has the largest number of logons in it. So this particular one would be the 15 to 20 minute interval that we have for part 3. And then for part 4, we're asked to write down the mid-interval of the modal class. So on a frequency distribution table like this, the mid-interval of any of these given classes is a number that is in the dead center of the interval. And the way we figure that out is we add the two numbers together, so 15 plus 20, and we divide it by 2. 15 plus 20 is 35, and 35 divided by 2 is 17 and a half. So the mid-interval for the modal class is 17.5 minutes in this particular case. And that's histograms.